Hello, everybody, and I hope you're all having an amazing day. It's been a hot minute, but Linkin Park is back with a brand new song. Looks like it's going to be part of their deluxe version of their album they gave to us last year, their first album with Emily as their new frontliner and new, lead singer, basically. And I'm excited to dive into this one and see what this one's going to be like, because let's be honest, that album has such a diversity amongst, the different types of songs we got. So I'm curious to see what this one's going to be all about, and also if there's going to be a really awesome message behind it, which I'm guessing there probably will be. But also sometimes I struggle with the messages that they're trying to give, so I'm going to see if I can actually get it right this time. But regardless, I'm excited to dive in this, so let's not waste any more time. Here we go. Ooh, okay. I gotta say, right off the bat, just from that sound of the band, that gave me such strong, 2000s, pop punk vibes, which is so fucking cool. I love that a lot. I love it. Let's go.
Inside it feels like I'm barely breathing. Feels like air is running out. Inside I'm stuck here staring at a ceiling. You put up to keep me down, 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 down.
Waking up without a name, opening my eyes, knowing nothing is the same. Circling around a drain as I realize that there's no one else to blame.
You keep me waiting down here, so far below, staring up from the bottom, up from the bottom.
Aw.
Escaping, but there's nowhere to go. Staring up from the bottom, up from the bottom. Each time I hold my fist.
I wanted that to go a little bit longer. I wanted them to give me a little bit more of that guitar riff, because I love that. Boo doo 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 doo, boo doo 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 doo. That was so sick. I was hoping maybe just a little bit longer at the end of that chorus would have been so nice. But again, right off the bottom, didn't mean to do that. Right off the top here, I'm gonna do the opposite. Anyways, I'm trying to understand. So they're saying that they put her in this room, basically, in a way, kind of maybe a little bit more metaphorical here. And she said, I'm staring up from the bottom. I'm wondering if it's one of those. I'll have to see as we go through the song more, but just a real quick, right off the bat, kind of idea I got going in my head. I'm wondering almost if it's you're basically being put under, somebody's basically putting this, putting her in a it's the opposite of being put on a pedestal. It's they're almost you see their drummer was in the jail cell there or whatnot. They're almost being put in a jail type of feeling, and almost being degraded in a way. I don't even know if that's right. I don't want this to be a 20-minute video, because I don't want to just spend half time me trying to figure out this thing. So that's kind of, I think it's for me right now, we're kind of looking almost as the opposite of being put on a pedestal. They're kind of being put down below in a way. They're being put down in a way, trying to be contained almost. I don't know. Let's keep going.
Each time I hold my fist inside my pocket, hold my breath until I'm blue.
See, then this time it's it's all about this idea of almost containment, it seems because it was the idea of them being showing them in the jail cell, and now they're in the straitjacket where they're in unable to move and almost trying to be contained. It's almost we're kind of almost the idea of they're trying to be contained, they're psychos or something like that, they are needing to be in like a psychiatric, my goodness, like facility or something like that, because they're like not normal in the head or something, or whatever you want to say. That's kind of like the vibes I'm getting. But I don't know, it's interesting.
My breath until I'm blue. Feels like a knife pushed deep inside a socket. Bristling, listening to you.
Waking up without a name.
Also, almost like her putting a bandana on, almost like them like trying to silence them, you know, in a way, like they're like being silenced by putting on a bandana over her mouth so she can't talk, or they can't like understand what she's saying, maybe. I don't know.
Listening to
Waking up without a name. Opening my eyes, knowing nothing's gonna change. Circling around a drain as I realize that there's no one else to blame.
you. Keep me waiting down here, so far below, staring up from the bottom, up from the bottom.
I love this. This is so catchy.
But there's nowhere to go, staring up from the bottom, up from the bottom.
Everybody out there, devil is coming. Poison on his lips and his words mean nothing. Cold like a mountaintop, father never loved him.
that
Mama
808,
said he's bad
damn.
enough times that it's sunk in.
Sorry, I was talking while he was talking or singing.
Nothing. Cold like a mountaintop, father never loved him. Mama said he's bad enough times that it's sunk in. Everybody out there, devil is coming. Promise you the world, but he's always bluffing. Before you even know it's a trap you're stuck in. He's gone like a ghost, already off running.
Waiting down here, so far below, staring up from the bottom, up from the bottom. I try escaping, but there's nowhere to go, staring up from the bottom. Gotta get out of here, up from the bottom. Gotta get out of here.
Oh, that ended so abruptly. That was crazy. Wow. Okay, so the idea of like, okay, so going back through and thinking this through now that we've heard the song, I'd say, okay, so a lot of idea of like, you know, saying like holding my breath, like the idea, like saying like hold my breath till I'm blue, you know, the idea of like being contained, like whether they're in the jail cell or like being in the straitjacket and then putting him in that box, and then almost like they had like Mike's character like trying to throw up a rope to get out of that, like wherever he was, like in this whole type of situation. But the idea of I'm looking at it, like especially with like the whole idea of like breathing, I'm wondering if this is almost like got to do with maybe anxiety, like the idea of like when you feel anxious, you kind of feel like almost like the entire weight of the world is on you, and you're just being like put into this hole, and you're almost trying to be contained and whatnot. Or maybe not even anxiety, maybe just like anybody who is like suffering through anything, whether it's depression or anxiety, it's almost like the world wants those people to be silenced because like they don't want to hear about like, you know, those people's problems and stuff. It's like the idea of like, you know, oh, it's not that bad, you know, you're fine, you know, you're not actually depressed, you're just having a hard time, you're just having a bad day or whatever. Or like, oh, you're not anxious, you just want attention or something like that, you know. Or like someone with ADHD like me, it's like, oh, you just want to be able to act out and freely and just be able to say like you have an excuse for it. I think that might be what they're kind of going for. Like you're looking up from the bottom to the rest of the world, like, hey, listen to us. We have these problems. We have these conditions that we need help. We're not just like crying out for help for the sake of crying out for help. Like we actually genuinely need help. Whether it's talking to a therapist, whether it's, you know, possibly medication, if that's a better route for you. I don't always like to rely on medication, but if that's what you need, that's what you need. So be it. You know, I think that's kind of like the idea that we're getting here. The idea of saying like having a hard time breathing, that can associate with the idea of, you know, you know, having a hard time when you get anxious, your breath kind of picks up and you kind of get really, you know, kind of like out of breath because you're like gasping almost for air to like kind of escape that feeling that you're going through. And almost like the idea of like being in an anxiety like type situation, you must feel like you're in a straitjacket, you can't escape from yourself. Being in a jail cell where you can't escape, you know, or being in that hole like like Mike was in. That's kind of like at least what I'm pulling from this. I think that's what they're going for. I think it's also more of like tailored towards, like I said, it could be tailored, I should say, more towards any type of mental disorder, as we'll say. I hate using that terminology, but that's what we have to go with. But I think it's almost maybe more focused on the anxiety aspect of it, possibly, because of like the way that they were portraying it, or the way they were portraying it. But I could be wrong. That's why I love you guys, because you guys come in and give me your interpretation, what you think this song's all about, and let me know if you think that you know, there's a deeper meaning to this than beyond I went with, or if you want to add on to what I think my interpretation was, or if you want to say like your own interpretation is completely different from mine. And that's the beauty of music, because we can all interpret it in different ways, and sometimes even the artist has their own interpretations that we can, you know, hear about. So, but overall, phenomenal song. I mean, it was great. One of the it's one of those songs that really gave me that like 2000s like Linkin Park vibe for sure, especially with all the scratching and DJing going on. You know, it felt like a 2000s like, you know, like emo rock, you know, punk rock sound that I felt like very familiar with growing up that time period, which I love. So anybody probably around my age is gonna probably love this song, and hopefully just form some new fans for anybody who's, you know, not used to hearing Linkin Park and growing up with them, especially like the Gen Z people, you know. But regardless, phenomenal song. I'm gonna definitely listen to this, and hopefully, as we get whenever the new album comes out, I can hear the new deluxe version of the album comes out on, I believe it's May 16th, then I can hear the rest of the other songs too. But with that being said, if y'all enjoyed this video, go ahead and drop a like, subscribe to the channel by clicking down below, and I'll go ahead and place my reactions playlist for Linkin Park over here, and you can check out my most recent reaction to Linkin Park over here. As always, thank you all so much for showing me love and support, and I will see you all in the next video. Alright guys, bye!